And I went back to headquarters in late May of 2002. And that's when I was approached.
Okay, but the wild, crazy success was Abu Zubaydah.
Yeah.
And all that. Okay. So you get into Pakistan. What was your... We got a podcast coming up about that next year. Just stay tuned.
A couple of them have written books. Or maybe one of them is written. Two of them have written books. It remains pretty highly classified, but these guys put their lives on the line to create that early relationship between the CIA and the Northern Alliance that would allow us to overthrow the Taliban and to force Al-Qaeda out of the country.
What did after those 4 days are up, I guess you went home finally?
Yeah.
You take a couple days off or?
No.
I was going to say like a few hours.
In fact, nobody took any time off to the point where Congress had to waive the federal regulation that you can only accumulate, I forget what it was, 2,000 hours of leave or something like that.
Yeah.
They took the cap off, and they also took the cap off of overtime. Oh my God, the overtime. It's like they're bringing you money in a wheelbarrow. Payday. I bought a house.
Just from
Pakistan, man. Listen, Pakistan, I'm making my salary. It was a good salary. It was enough for me to live on in D.C.
When did you first go to Pakistan?
January 6th.
Okay.
2002. January 4th, 2002.
Real quick, just before Pakistan, because I want to get there right now. Those 3 months, what are you doing before
Al-Qaeda.
Just in the office at
24 hours a day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any major breakthroughs you were a part of that you can talk about?
There were a couple things I'm actually pretty proud of.
Okay. What were they?
I probably shouldn't say. I'll say one was domestic, which kind of shocked everybody. I was very proud of that. And then there were 2 overseas that I was proud that it just never occurred to anybody that there are Arabs in some of these places that I probably shouldn't say, but I did well.
But on a broad level, I guess the things you're referring to are identifying people who were terrorists and us being able to get them.
And we started looking at Al-Qaeda's finances. You know, you gotta disrupt the finances on top of it. All these people are getting paid. I mean, even if it's only $200 a month.
How were they paying people?
It was Osama bin Laden's personal money.
Yeah, but how were they getting, like, okay, Osama bin Laden's sitting in Afghanistan and he's getting money to some asshole in fucking Bulgaria.
A lot of it was banks in places like Sudan or Pakistan. A lot of it was what's called the Hawala system. Do you know what the Hawala system is?
I don't think so.
Oh, this is a problem. Years later, when I was the chief investigator on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I did a study on the Hawala system. I flew out to the Middle East, and I talked to some UAE senior police officials about the Hawalas. Hawalas are informal, unofficial money transfer centers. So when I say informal and unofficial, what I did, just to test it, was I walked into a little grocery store, like one guy selling some fruits and vegetables. And I said, I want to send $50 to the United States. And he said, where in the United States? I said, Washington, D.C. He says, okay, give me the $50. I give him my 50. He gives me a 16-digit number, just written by hand on a piece of paper. And he puts an address of an Arabic bakery in Bethesda, Maryland. And he says, this is where you get your money.
Whoa.
So I fly back a week later. I take the subway up to Bethesda. I go into this Arabic bakery, and I said, I need to talk to somebody about picking up some money. And I give him my 16-digit number. He looks in this ledger, and he gives me whatever it was, $46 from my 50. Totally, completely untraceable. Now, I only did $50 just to see if it would work.
Whoa.
And it worked. But they're doing, hundreds of thousands in a single transaction. They're doing millions. And the way they move the money around is by DHL.
DHL?
DHL will still deliver boxes of money.
Oh, like the company DHL.
Yeah, DHL. FedEx won't do it. UPS won't do it. DHL will do it. So I was like, we got to shut this thing down.
So Osama bin Laden's just like DHLing his money around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. That's like
it's not,
hairs on
not
your skin
good.
standing up.
Yeah.
So for 3 months, you're helping identify all this stuff. And then is this when you were first approached about enhanced interrogation?
No, that was later.
That was later.
So I went to Pakistan in January of 2002, had wild, crazy success there. And I went back to headquarters in late May of 2002. And that's when I was approached.
Okay, but the wild, crazy success was Abu Zubaydah.
Yeah.
And all that. Okay. So you get into Pakistan. What was were you like the highest ranked CIA guy there?
Yeah. Well, in counterterrorism.
Okay.
We had a chief and a deputy chief.
And they're sending you to Pakistan, and what's the objective? Just like try to find any HVTs we can get?
Any of them. Now, we're bombing the shit out of Tora Bora at the time. We knew that the whole al-Qaeda leadership was in the village of Tora Bora, or the environs of the village of Tora Bora in eastern Afghanistan. And so we're just bombing them mercilessly. And they're crossing the mountains into Pakistan and looking for safe haven there, safe houses, any way they can just get away from the bombing.
Did you guys already believe bin Laden had made it into Pakistan at that time?
No, we thought he was held up in Tora Bora.
Mm.
Now the story is pretty famous. We had CENTCOM had a translator who was in touch with al-Qaeda fighters on the mountain, and he said, "You're surrounded, and we're going to kill everybody unless you surrender," which is what General Franks had instructed him to say. And the al-Qaeda person he was talking to said, "We will surrender at dawn if you let our women and children come down." And so we stupidly agreed to that. So the women and children come down. We start expecting at dawn for bin Laden to give up, and the rest of the al-Qaeda leadership to give up. Instead, nobody comes down. And here, during the night, while we're waiting for the women and children to come down, they dressed as women, went down the other side of the mountain, and escaped.
Including bin Laden?
Bin Laden, we later learned, was dressed as a woman and sat
God.
in the back of a pickup truck and escaped. Mm-hmm.
He was like 6'4".
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.